Managing a small team or business comes with a unique set of challenges. With limited resources and manpower, it's easy for things to feel chaotic and out of your control. How can you, as a leader, accomplish your goals while keeping your team engaged, effective, and accountable? This podcast will give you practical strategies you can implement now to lead your team or business to reach its fullest potential. Welcome to the Organizing Chaos podcast with your host, Danny Coleman.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Organizing Chaos, where we talk about small practical strategies for small teams and small businesses. I hope that your 2019 is off to a good start. This is the first episode I'm recording in 2019. Took a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm back at it, and I want to continue where I left off, which is with my process, the Organize the Chaos process that I use when I consult with small businesses. And this process is what I use, and it's also something that you can mirror and pull from and use it for your own business without me, or no matter where in the country you are, or world, I guess, for that matter. It's really just a lot of fundamental steps that I take that I'm able to kind of look at what's going on in a business, identify where the problem areas are, untangle what's going on, and get a better idea of what the owner wants to accomplish with their business and try to help them make progress there. So the previous steps, I'm not going to rehash all those, so go back and listen to those if you want some more context. But this step is a very crucial step when you are ready to take your business to the next level. So most small business owners are visionaries in the sense of that they've created something that did not yet exist. It might be in an industry, of course, that existed or whatever. It didn't have to be something novel like the iPhone or sliced bread or something like that. It's just a matter of what they created is their idea of what the best or what the world needs, or what a problem that needed to be solved. They had a unique idea about how to solve it, and even if there's a million other different businesses just like them, they're bringing their own unique flavor to it. And so in that capacity, they are a visionary. It's like an artist. It's like you're creating a painting. You have the idea in your head of what you want it to look like, and so you paint in broad strokes. You know what it should look like, or you have an idea of what it should look like. You're kind of figuring it out as you go along. But living in that space is really your forte. That's where you should be spending most of your time, because you're the only person with the vision in your head. That said, this does not necessarily mean you need to be the manager of your business. So most small business owners are typically, in my experience, have not been necessarily great managers. This is a lot of it's self-admitted, and I struggle with it myself as I've started to scale my own business. I'm still pretty small that I can maintain it myself, but as it grows, I know very keenly, I'm keenly aware that I will soon my vision will outgrow my capacity, which honestly feels like it is right now. And so in that respect, small business owners need to be spending their time where, again, they're uniquely qualified. We talked about that in steps 1 and 2, talking about steps 1, 2, and 3. Your stop doing list, the things that do not leverage your superpower, your unique skill set, and delegating those things. So one of the biggest things to delegate is running the day-to-day operations of your business. If you've reached a point where you are struggling to balance both pushing your business forward as well as maintaining what you've created, then it's time for you to consider getting an integrator. So an integrator, another word for an integrator is general manager or chief operations officer or operations manager, something like that. And whatever the title is, the structure of where an integrator should be on an organization chart looks like this crude organization chart that I have here on my marker board, where there's a circle at the top. That's the owner, that's the business owner, the visionary. And then the integrator sits right beneath that and then manages the day-to-day operations of the business. Now, I have done other episodes in the past about integrators and the reason why you should have one if you don't have one already. But I'll touch on a few things here first, just why you should have an integrator. Like I said, you want to be staying in your zone of genius, the place where you operate the best. If that's not managing people, then you need an integrator. Okay, if what your zone of genius is maybe understanding your industry, or attracting new clients, or thinking up new products and services to offer, then that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is then delivering on all those things. What is the actual work that needs to get done, and who needs to do it? That's management. So creation of the vision and thinking up the vision and coming up with those plans, those big, hairy, audacious goals, that's one side of being an entrepreneur. The other side is actually delivering the product. So as you scale, having some other entrepreneur within your business who reports to you, taking care of the delivery aspect of your service or product is key in maintaining not only just your sanity, but quality delivery of your product and consistency. So that's the why. I mean, honestly, I could go into it a lot, and I don't want to get off on too many tangents. I have a bad habit about doing that when I don't have another person that I'm talking to. So since I'm talking to the camera right now, I just want to leave you with, if the things that I said don't ring a bell with you, then don't feel bad or don't feel like you have to make any changes. Stick with what's working for you. But if what you're doing isn't working, try something new. And this is what I'm telling you need to try. Try giving someone else on your team operational control of the day-to-day going-ons of your business so that you can spend time in the vision part of your business where you're working on the business, allowing other people to fulfill what your business delivers or deliver what your business promises. So that's the why behind having an integrator. That's the benefit that you're going to get from it. There's really a multitude of benefits, but I don't want to get into all of those right now because I really just want to cover this step. So first of all, why should you have an integrator? I just told you why. The second thing is like, okay, well, Danny, if I get an integrator, what does that really look like? Well, it's not going to be a light switch. I'll tell you that. It's not like you find your integrator and just blammo, there they are. They're just like running your business and it's all fine and dandy. It's going to be a process of you letting go, which is, again, that's the hardest thing for us small business owners to do, is to let go of things, right? Because our business and our work, it has our name on it. And like in my case, my face on it. And so doing that, you want to make sure that product and that service is delivered properly and it follows your wishes, the vision that you have in your mind. So you can't do it all at once. So what you have to do is take little pieces off and give them to the integrator. So the biggest one, first and foremost, is going to be letting go of management of your people to your integrator or to your general manager. Managing your people is not something that you need to be doing. It's something that your integrator should be doing. This organization chart that I have here, it makes it so that it really consolidates your time and allows you to maximize the time that you have available to work on your business. See, this diagram here, or the org chart, it shows you only managing one person. If you're the business owner, that's one person you manage instead of all the employees reporting to you, or perhaps an entire leadership team, and maybe a management team of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people reporting to you. So it allows you to be able to just have a conversation with one person. You guys get on the same page, and then that integrator then takes what it is your wishes are, right? Helps you to match that with reality, and then creates the marching orders for the team. A book that I can't explain this concept in its entirety to sell you on it during this 10, 20, 15-minute podcast episode. But I highly recommend, if you have not already, read the book Rocket Fuel by Mark C. Winters and Gino Wickman. I'll put a link in the YouTube description. And check that book out. It does a great job at explaining this dynamic between visionary and integrator and all of the wonderful benefits that come from it. So that's kind of what it looks like. Is like, you're getting rid of piece by piece of what you have done operationally within the business, and you're giving that over to the integrator to manage. And then, of course, you hold the integrator accountable to meeting the expectations that you set. Of course, you guys set the expectations working together, but ultimately you're responsible for being clear about what the expectations are and then holding the integrator accountable to those expectations. And the integrator then has to make sure that the business is functioning as it should beneath him or her so that they're able to then deliver what it is they're promising to you that they're going to do. So that's more or less what it looks like. Lastly, where to find these people. So I have a lot of people who are like, I like what you're describing, like you're talking about this integrator thing, but I don't think that person exists, or I can't afford that person. I will tell you right now that 100% of the instances where I've been consulting with someone or I've been on the team somewhere, the integrator is already on your team. If you look around, if you think about like, okay, who's someone who I can really trust, who's pretty reliable, they almost always get the job done, and they do it really well. I somehow feel like they're more mature than everybody else that works on the team. that person, whoever might be coming to mind right now, if that's ringing any bells, that's your first person that you need to check with. So how do you go about doing that? Well, you ask them if they're interested in what an integrator does. If you're interested in kind of a realistic example of what an integrator does, shoot me an email, danny@dannycoleman.me, and I'll share with you a position agreement that I have for an integrator. It's going to be obviously a little bit, it's not going to be custom fit to your business, but it'll give you the general idea of what an integrator's job duties are going to look like. And if you have any interest in that, just shoot me an email. I'd be happy to share that with you. And like I said, share that with the person who you're considering and ask them if they're interested in doing this. You may have to give them a small pay bump, but let me tell you right now, more people on your team want to sacrifice and go above and beyond for you than you probably realize. If you are a good leader and you're running your business, or you're treating your employees fairly, as best you can. I know sometimes we all question that in our heads when we're giving them all these laundry lists of tasks to do. But if you are, a good leader, then you probably have people on your team who would be interested in taking on more responsibility. And so I'll ask you this as a challenge: when's the last time you asked someone to take on more responsibility without promising an increase in pay? And so if it's been a while, then go ahead and start asking people again. If you've asked people recently and they've been turning you down, then you should probably need to check what your culture looks like and, maybe talk to your employees and get some feedback from them about why they're not willing to take on any more work. But that's a different discussion for a different time. My hope is to try to illustrate to you that in this step of my consulting process, I'm working with the business owner, and I'm trying to help them understand whether or not they're ready for this person to join their team. Not everybody's ready for that, and that's fine. If you're at a certain size, or you're at a certain place in your business where it's just not feasible for you to bring someone in like this or promote someone really from within to take on this role, then don't do it. But if you're at the point where you're ready to try to get some of your time back, you're ready to try to divide up the vision-oriented duties that you're doing against, or divide them away from the operational kind of work, deliverable type work that you're doing in your business, then it's time to look for an integrator. And again, I'm telling you, the first place you need to look is right on your team. And those are the people who you can usually get for less than if you were to just hire someone to come in and run your business who may have a lot of experience, but hasn't been with you for a long time. You're going to be able to usually pay the person on your team a little bit less, but also you've got the rapport and the trust with that person. It'll be a lot easier for you to let go of some of these things to them, so that they're able, so that you guys have, or when you let it go, rather, you can trust that it's going to get done. Because again, when I was talking earlier, when you're thinking in your head of who on my team might be able to do this sort of thing, whoever's coming to your mind probably is someone that you have some trust with. They've not lied to you, or they've not cheated you, or you feel like they're pretty reliable. Again, that's the first place that I would look if I was at that point in my business. And I'm keenly aware that at some point I'm going to have to do the same thing. I'm going to have to, as my business grows, I'm going to have to find my own integrator. But as of right now, I've served as integrator for multiple teams before, as well as help place integrators on other teams. And I can tell you right now that this is the sweet spot. This is where your business goes from just being running day to day, just trying to pay the bills and whatnot, to where it starts to expand and scale, because you're placing people in their zones of genius and allowing them to operate in those areas. And that includes, first and foremost, yourself being in your zone of genius, working on vision, working on strategy, and steering the ship for where your business needs to go. Think of this person like your lieutenant, or your executive officer, your right-hand man. This person is going to be going hand in hand with you. They're going to be a fellow entrepreneur. They're going to share the burden of entrepreneurship as well. That's another side benefit that I'll throw in there, is that being an entrepreneur, I think that everyone can agree with this, it can get really lonely. Especially when you're in a business and you're just surrounded by people who work for you. They don't get necessarily where you're at and where your head's at. And bringing this person in or promoting this person up is going to allow you to share the burden of entrepreneurship, so that, again, you're not bearing that alone, but you've got someone to shoulder it with. And life is a whole lot better when you got a partner. Hope that this made sense. And again, if you have any kind of interest in this, this concept is not, I've not seen that it's common in small business yet. And I really, really want to bring this concept to small business, because I think that it will allow people to be a lot happier. As the business owner, you'll be happier with the business you've created. You won't feel a slave to it. It can run without you being there, and you can trust that it'll do well. as well as the people who work for you are going to feel better when you're not stressed and when you're clear on what it is you want to do. So again, hopefully that was helpful for you. If you guys have any questions, be sure to hit me up, danny@dannycoleman.me. If you would like to be interviewed, you have something that you'd like to value that you'd like to share with the small business audience, I would love to talk to you. Again, shoot me danny@dannycoleman.me. Shoot me an email there. Follow me on Instagram at @IamDannyColeman. And yeah, hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will catch you later. See ya.
Want more? Go to dannycoleman.me to download Danny's free small business hiring guide, which includes tips, templates, and tools, plus a step-by-step process you can use to find and keep high-quality employees for your small team or business.